That's such an anomaly. But you come back and now all is right. You graduate and now you're a tabbed sergeant back in Ranger Regiment. How much longer did you stay in Ranger Regiment after that?
I got my 6.
For the second time?
In 99, the second time.
No.
And I got, does that make it a 12? No.
Yes. we need to add up all your promotions to get your actual rank.
And then, in 99, I decided to go do my thing.
So what was it that that made you want to go to the unit from Ranger Regiment at that time? What was the decision point?
Well, you see while you're there, you see other men do it. And there's a mystique for sure. But in the end, like we talked about, whether we talked about it earlier or we talked about it offline, there's these men that want to test their mettle. And I wanted to test my mettle. I wanted to see, it looked like it's a natural progression.
Yeah.
And it looked like that was clearly a natural progression to me, much to the dismay of some of the command, which is funny, right? People think you're abandoning them. You'll get that whole impression, or you're just quitting, you're abandoning us. So I saw it as my next chance to do something else. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems as if that mentality has come and gone throughout the years with Ranger Regiment, supporting guys going to the unit or not, and I've never understood it. Why you would ever want to keep someone from serving this country in the absolutely best way they could,
The highest capacity you can.
Right.
And it is interesting. I remember I failed. Like I said, I failed in spring, and my exit interview was General Miller. Wasn't General Miller then, and he asked me right away, "What's the climate of the command? Were they supportive in you doing this?" And to a degree, my company commander was very supportive, Chris Vanek. But senior command, not really happy. And other people will just think that you're just quitting on them.
Yeah. Was there any fallout to you coming back as a non-select? They take away your squad, or I hear those stories.
Well, my company commander thought I was going to be successful, so
Nice.
he hired somebody else and put them in my spot, and I went somewhere else. So I went to I did a small stint as the headquarters platoon sergeant. So
Okay.
worked out.
How long did it take you to go back?
I went back the next session. Was that 6 months?
Yeah. Nice.
I went right back, yeah. And then just like the swimming thing, or just like you mentioned, whatever it is, you're just going to hammer until you get it right. I think I was too tired the first time, and I got smarter, and I was more patient the second time.
Okay.
And so I trained, but I didn't train super hard. I just trained enough. Mike Hall used to say, look, as a Ranger, you're training probably as much as you need to. You're doing a road march every Thursday, 12 miles. You're doing this, you're doing that. And I took it back to heart, and I said, well, maybe I went too far. And most of the time, what I made was navigational mistakes anyway. So
Okay. What was the impression that, if any, that selection had on you?
amazing course, professional. I learned a crap ton. You learn a lot about yourself. It's super professional. And certainly to me right now, that one of the hardest, if not the hardest physical thing I've ever done. I think harder when you see a good friend of yours being buried, hard when you have somebody between your legs and you're intubating him and you think he's going to die. The hardest physical thing I did was selection. So,
would you say that what, especially after going through the first time and failing, when it came out that you were selected, what'd that feel like? Who'd you call?
a giant weight over. That's a great question. I don't remember calling anybody. I really don't.
Yeah. Did you sit there at some point and almost feel like it wasn't real? Because I don't think people realize once you're in the military and once you're within special operations, you already hinted at it. It's this mythical place almost. It's this place that exists, but it's so distant. It's not a place you're allowed to talk to. It's not It's not a place you're allowed to go. It's where friends leave and they're never heard from again.
Yeah,
it almost doesn't feel real to be a part of it.
And earlier you mentioned, I don't know exactly what question it was, but I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
I didn't know anything about it. The psych is asking me, hey, what about this one? I don't know. I don't know. I was doing Ranger stuff. I never really studied this at all. I don't even know. And then, like you say, this mystical thing, when you're on a task and you have to go a certain distance, and then when you're at the end of it, which you don't know it's the end.
Right.
And then when it's the end, I can almost feel it right now. When I get up there and he says, congratulations, you finished this portion. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And, go over here and, hey, how are you? Yeah. And everything's changed now. So
I don't care how much is out there already. If it's out there and you guys can figure it out, then you can. But there's, obviously like any selection, there's the end of the physical events. And just like you're talking about, I remember thinking at what I believed to be the end of the physical events, sitting there and saying, regardless of whatever happens after this, they can't take this away from me. I physically completed the hardest course in the military.
I totally agree with you there. Yeah.
And no, I said that to myself, which ended up being a lie just several hours later, because because that happiness went away. I was like, no, I won't truly be happy unless I see this thing through. but that was still true to some degree.
Oh yeah, I was
just completing it was just to sit down and being like, I did this. It's just got to be a.
Oh, it's still emotional to me, without a doubt. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can see it. It's Army SEER School, CRC. That was, being beaten down and thinking that you're going to get rescued, and then you turn around and where they say, you can't. What was they saying to me? They're saying to everybody. They're saying you can't treat our flag like this. You can't treat our flag like this. You turn around and respect our flag. And you turn around, right? And there's all these people to watch you graduate. And there's the American flag. And they immediately started doing the national anthem. And you're like, you get all soupy right away. I'm like, gosh, man,
I cried.
So yeah, big time. I'm getting emotional right now. So it's that kind of thing. You did that and you finished that. It was a lot of inner.
Yeah.
It was, I was exhausted, of course. I was relieved. Again, certainly the hardest thing I've ever done. Very satisfying.
This is cool for me and you to get to talk about because we experienced something that's so similar. So when you say this, it's not very often I get to listen to a guest and truly go, I know exactly what you felt like and what you experienced, because I also failed my first selection. And then you have this, this buildup of having to go back, and then all the nights when other guys are going out that you decide to, stay home and train for this one last chance at this dream. Then you go back there, and it already beat you once, and you get this monkey off your back by saying like all the sacrifice I made, all the naysayers, my own naysayer, inside of me, that you have to beat down every day and say like, no, we're still going out because you got this.
That's cool.
And to sit down when it's all said and done and be like, I did that. It's just like I said, and you're mentally exhausted, you're physically exhausted. You gave it everything. It's just a euphoric feeling. In fact, I haven't really thought about, for whatever reason, I have not thought about that until you just brought that up.
To me, it was.
And I can't stop smiling thinking about
it.
Right.
How you finished a marathon or whatever it is you do. You just get, you're like, gosh, man, this portion is over. Yeah. And immediately everybody is different. Everything is different.
And so few men in this world will ever see what we earned, and also it's also true what we earned and what we were lucky enough to see.
Very fortunate.
There is some luck involved.
Certainly earned, without a doubt earned.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very fortunate. And then, you look back at this, my girl and I just saw this thing. It was like a 5-minute businessman guy saying, everything in your life that happens to you is your responsibility. Everything. Yeah. And he said, his example was, but wait, I was going through an intersection with a green light and I got T-boned by a guy in a red light. Still your responsibility. You put yourself in that car. You put yourself down that road. You didn't look to the right, or you didn't stop, and all these things are really your responsibility. So to think about that, the opportunities and the opportunities I've had after succeeding there, the opportunities and places I went and things I did were absolutely amazing. And I just, the best part of my life was all through that time frame. So
right, and at the end of the day, what you just accomplished, which is true. So few men have, but even that, you'll sit there, you'll rest on your laurels for just a little bit, but it's far from over. Now you just get an opportunity to see what's the other side of the fence.
Totally agree with that too.
But you've just earned a right to see the other side, and you earned that. But it's far from over, as we both experienced.
Yeah.
Not everyone that gets the opportunity to go over there gets to continue to work there and be assigned there, if you will.
But to be assigned there too, to me, in the most important position, your position, my position was the most important position in that organization. The whole rest of the organization is built upon that. So
that is what I loved about that. It really is. I think there's very few places, and really, especially in the military. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I've said it before, and I stand by it, because it can be taken to an extreme that's not meant. But that place revolves around the operator. The operator is the rock star. The building is only there to support them. But really, that's true in shouldn't say every, but every line company. The infantry man is the main effort within an infantry company, but it doesn't get treated like that. And we get told, hey, the support personnel are just as important as you. And this is where it kind of becomes hard to verbalize, because even though I believe that's not true, people take that and then they kind of run with it and they go, oh, so you think support people are beneath you? Nope. In fact, I don't think. I would like to believe no one treated support people as good as I did. I loved them.
Yes.
And if you don't treat them well, you can't do your job without them. But let's make no mistake about it. When bullets fly and a hill has to be charged or a high value target has to be taken, they're not the ones that have to put their life on the line, and there has to be some sort of recognition for that.
It's the grunt, it's the doughboy, it's the 82nd Airborne guy, it's the 101st Airborne guy, it's the 3rd ID kid, and it's the 4th ID guy.
Absolutely.
To win, you have to take and hold ground.
Yep.
Well, you're not taking and holding ground with a cook. Okay, he's just not.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I love my cooks, baby. You're exactly right about the support personnel. The thing doesn't work without it. Going back to the F1 movie again. Why? Because I just saw it again. But one of the guys is Jack Man. He goes, I was a 5-time, the team principal for the team says I'm a 5-time world champion with Ferrari as a rear jack man. And, Brad Pitt's character says, my pop was too. You can't win without them. And so they're not the driver, but you can't win without these other pieces. Right. But yeah, you can't take and hold ground without the infantryman. That's why they get a little, what'd you call it before? Flare? Not flare. What'd you call it? You can wear a ball cap today. That's
little SF candy.
Candy. Little flare, little candy.
Yeah. And when it came to support personnel, the support guys that I loved the most are the ones who love their job. And what I mean by that is, everyone's had the support guy that's like, hey, they wanted to go shooting with you, and they wanted to go to shoot long guns with you, or do things that weren't their job. And usually the ones that really wanted to do that weren't very good at their jobs. And so it made it difficult to want to bring them. But In fact, we had a cook. It's a perfect example. We had a cook who just loved being a cook. Never asked to come to the range. You know who I asked if he wanted to go to the range? The cook, who never asked. Now I want to take you to the range. You know, it's just how life works. You know, the guys that are really good at their job, that's actually when you get the invite, and we want you to be here. But guess what? He's only going to be there long enough to enjoy it, and he's a master of his craft, and he's got to get back to it. Just really, and you said it before. The operator there is the rock star, but just everyone there just lives to do their job.
The vast majority, I think we talked about this offline, right? The vast majority of people that work in that building really want to be there.
Yeah.
And they want to make a difference, and they want to be masters at their craft, no matter what that craft is. With every organization, there's problems, and because, you know, guess what? We're humans. We're fallible, but yeah, it's. I don't know how you explain it. I'd say the greatest place I've ever been professionally, the best professional times I've ever had in my life have been in that building.
There's only one downside to it, and that it's ruined me. Any place I will ever work at or with after that, I have to look at through a different lens and hold to a different standard, because I've never been a part of an organization like that before, and I never will again.
You're jaded.
You're jaded. Sure. There's just no way to get a group of people like that
and it's hard,
together again.
It's hard on your personal life. It's very hard. It's very difficult, and I applaud the men that do it. It's very difficult to stay even keel throughout both of those circles of life. I wasn't good at it, so
that's a whole another subject. Let's talk about it, because it's true. Once you get brought up to a certain standard, that is now a standard in your life, and that standard does bleed over and into other things, and it's hard to expect, if not demand, out of other people, including yourself, perfection, or at least or excellence. You're striving for excellence, and then go home or go have to interact with other people who cannot meet that standard, and then change gears in and out of work.
Yeah, but for me though too, right?
Some people can do it, but I think it changes you to some degree. It changes you.
No, it does. The whole thing changes you. Your exposure, your operational tempo exposes you to change, and you're losing mates to change, and the high stress environment changes. The potential for TBI, the constant explosions you're around, whether it's training breaching, real life breaching, subterranean breaching is the worst, or even now as a shooting instructor, I see it all the time now. Standing next to someone who's just shooting a regular Glock. You can feel it hitting you just feel it, right?
Yeah.
Chris Free talks about that in the Operator Syndrome book. But when you expect excellence, like you said, I want to go back to that, because I wasn't excellent. You know what I mean? I was excellent at a couple things, but I wasn't excellent at doing like the regular normie life thing that I should have tried to be better at. But I wasn't. So I just wasn't.
Do you think it? What do you think it does? It's a personal question, but what do you think it does to your marriage?
Oh, definitely. It punishes it. It really puts.
That's a good way to describe it.
It puts a really high stress on it for sure. Marriage in itself is not easy anyway. Relationships aren't easy to keep. I'm in a relationship right now I want to really keep. I think she's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. But to be, that covenant that you go into with your wife, and it's difficult in that realm. It's really difficult in that realm. If you want to do really well. Yeah. So there's a battle. I think that men are under a little bit more stress than women. I could be wrong. By all means, tell me I am. But there's a like a ladder of protector. You want to be protector, provider, the expert, the one to go to. You want all that on you. I want that on my shoulders. I want the ball. I want the puck. I want the ball. I want the bat, whatever it might be, whatever sport you're in. But gosh, man, it's that life, especially when you deploy constantly. That was the most trying times. In the beginning, I don't think it was that hard. And later on, it got much harder.
I actually think I can describe it maybe in a better way, and again, I think it's personality dependent.
Obviously,
for me, I think one of the things that became very hard to navigate and manage was of sorts of a lack of sympathy, because in the jobs we were doing at the time, not to be dramatic about it, but it's just true. Everything was life or death. Everything was life or death. The daily training we were doing to the next deployment that was just right around the corner to, we'll call it a surprise deployment. And you just got used to dealing with very high risk environments, and then to go home and I'm just being honest, here, and hear about a problem at home and go, that's not a problem. It's just, I'm just, I wouldn't say that, but that's.
You wouldn't?
Well,
I probably did.
I might have said it.
I probably did.
I might have said it.
One of the things that I said, and I will say on occasion still, is it's all right. No one's shooting at you.
Yeah.
And is that callous? Like you said, is that a lack of sympathy, empathy, callous?
Right.
Probably all the above.
Right. Because everything's subjective, and I look back and I go, well, I mean, just because it was a problem to her, and in my poor attempt to bring things down, it had the opposite effect, because I had no sympathy, and I think she just wanted to be heard, and she just wanted to be helped. But I was trying to let her know, like, hey, well, you're making this a bigger deal than it is. It's actually not that big of a deal. When I think I could have done a better job of stepping back and just kind of trying to understand this was a big deal. But I'm not making excuses for it. I'm just saying that it's just true. In the reality of the time, it was really hard for anything to be a big deal to me, because it would have to be a very, very big deal because of what we were used to in our everyday lives.
I like what you said just a minute ago about you have to put let me see if I can say this correctly. It's really important to try to put your partner's shoes on. Yeah. It really is. And that's even now. I didn't do it. I try to fix it. So well, hopefully it's fixed. But yeah, selection's an ongoing process, right?
That's
well,
right.
Guess what? This is an ongoing thing, man. And I'll tell you right now too, my faith journey wasn't very good during the GWAT. I got much better later, and it's even stronger now. But my faith journey with Christ is much more powerful now than it ever used to be. And